Fran, you transitioned 7 years ago. When did you first feel like you were in the wrong body?
I have a discrete memory of being 10 years old. I'm going to cry. I was playing piano for the piano teacher and she said, "You'll have to cut your nails, you're clacking on the keys. They're too long, people will think you a girl." And straight through my head, that's good, I want to be just like the other girls. So that was a discrete experience that I carried with me through life and could make no sense of. I was the elder of 2 children in an Irish Catholic family. My father would very proudly tell anyone who would listen that he had a boy and a girl and his eldest son and heir would grow up to be important. So there was religious and cultural pressure for me to be my father's son. And by the time we got to pre-teen and teenage years, life was quite difficult in the all-boys school because I was quite effeminate and quite flamboyant. So I'd get the occasional, how shall we put this politely, retributive justice from the masculine boys, which I thought was really unfair because by then I knew I liked girls. So there was my life. I was culturally bound. I had boy plumbing. I liked girls. So where was I going to go except live the life of a cis hetero fella?
What was your catalyst for change?
I had a really tumultuous adult life. I was on very poor terms with myself and I caused a lot of collateral damage in my relationships, for which I remain terribly sad. Because I have a conscience, I tried to get help, and the psychiatrist who saw me for many years never thought of this as a cause for me feeling a fraud. By the time I got to 50, I had entered into a new relationship that was monogamous. Out of character for me, I had been unreliable. I had a 10-year stable relationship with a woman of my own age and similar tastes, and my health had returned and I was out running. I was really enjoying trail running. It was great. I was at the gym doing cross training, and when you're at the gym doing hand weights, you look in the mirror, not because you're Mr. Narcissist, but because you want to not hurt yourself. And I was looking in the mirror and I'm thinking, you've got your relationship, you're steady, you're stable, you go sailing, you go running, why do you still feel like you're a fraud? And straight through my head, because you're supposed to be a girl. So it was an absolute epiphany in the classic sense of the word. It knocked my socks off. And to my eternal shame, despite my professional life being as a general practitioner, I knew nothing about gender diversity. So I dived into Dr. and academic and Mr. Google, read everything I could find, and every time I'm reading something, oh yeah, that's me, oh yeah, that's me.
Did you wish you'd been able to transition earlier?
I'm a deeply rational being, and I try really very hard to live in the moment. And when I worked out what was going on, I really put the blinkers on about both the past and what the future might look like. I was not a man, and I had to live to be authentically not a man. So I dove in, and every morning for the last 7 years I wake up and I'm just happy I'm the interesting version of girl that I am. And a couple of years afterwards I paid a lot of money and sold a boat, and now I have neat knickers. And every day I wake up I'm pleased I have neat knickers as well.
How do you feel about a young person's ability to consent?
XY humans, assigned male at birth humans, all the research says their brains don't mature till they're 25. That's where a multidisciplinary team, lots of different listeners, can do their best to help with quality consent from the young person. And I come back to the harm we do by doing nothing. The reports of distress, suicidality and impaired functioning for kids who have gender dysphoria that is not relieved by gender affirming care. We're not doing no harm by doing nothing, we're doing harm.
How hard is it for doctors to balance medical knowledge with what their patient wants?
When we decide if someone has agency over their own bodies, the question is, will we let them take a risk? Now, no one says that a cognitively intact 80-year-old can't jump out of a plane. We give that adult agency to take a risk. There's risk for any medical intervention, and sometimes there are bigger risks for not having them. And right at the end of the day, I got to be age 61, and I can keep hearing 10-year-old me who had it right.